Moletrap already told you it was, but is it okay?
I was just describing him.
He is a light in the darkest hour. He is.
MVP King.
I don't know why. Moletrap just spit his T all over the keyboard. It's going to be hard for him to keep track of stuff now. Sorry, Moletrap.
Uh-oh,
Flexing the
can't
hands.
bother him a little bit.
No, don't worry about it. He's
So
fine.
MVP has only 4 losses out of 28 games in Terran versus Terran. 4 of those losses, 3 of those losses to Marine King Prime, the second best Terran in the world. Keen is 1-2 against Terran with a single win against Gumiho.
Well, I'm sure he's nervous. I'm sure he knows the position that he's in.
I'm just saying, just letting the numbers speak for themselves a little bit. Now, Keen did get revenge for his teammate Noblesse by beating Coca, and he said last week that now that he's going to face MVP, he wants to get revenge for Violet as well by beating MVP. And he was talking about how he feels like he's the only guy who doesn't have a big name yet, and he wants to beat MVP to make his name in StarCraft 2. So he does have a lot of drive. He does want this win. He's not going into it saying, oh, I'm going to lose. Droopy dog. He's saying, I want this win. I'm going to take this. I don't know if he's actually that confident. He actually said he had only 30 to 40% chance of winning. But he thinks he can win. That's more of a chance than Ryung gave himself, you know?
That's true. That's true. So it looks like a command center going up for Keen. Ryung getting his, I'm sorry, that was last match. Keen getting his Reaper, that is. MVP getting the command center and the SCV. Trying to make it past those Marines, but it's not going to happen.
Yep, doesn't see anything.
That
Doesn't even
SCV
see that little wall.
See.
Yeah,
MVP
exactly.
is going to get to scout Keen's base before being taken out.
So he's going to expect this Reaper.
Yep.
And the Reaper's going to be followed up by a command center for Keen, and it's actually planted at his expansion. So even though he's planting it down a little bit later, he's actually going to start mining from it at about the exact same time
Should be.
that MVP does.
Yeah.
So not going to be behind in economy at all.
Well, I'm really, really excited actually to see what MVP has planned for this map. He is a Terran player we've said multiple times has the best mechanics in StarCraft 2. I'm willing to say it. I'm willing to say I'm gonna betray Lucira and say that MVP actually does have the best mechanics in StarCraft 2 right now. Although Lucira is about as close as you can possibly come. But another thing that MVP has
are right in the right position.
is game sense like that. Almost picking off that Reaper.
Perfect.
And he's got so many openings too. It's like a giant. Well, it's like a bag of holding. It holds a lot more than you think it would.
The base?
No, MVP's openings bag.
Ah, yes. I see that now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bag
you're
of
right.
holding, for those of you unfamiliar with Dungeons & Dragons, is of course a bag that may be small, but you can put a lot of stuff in it.
And Keen actually gets that
Wow,
Reaper all the way in there. Might even get an SCV.
Man.
SCV might get him though.
Whoa!
And is he gonna? I mean, he should pull some SCVs, get us around. Instead, 3 SCVs chasing it in a conga line of attempted death, and he does get 1 SCV. Wow, that Reaper's doing a lot of damage off 2 hit points, and now finally gets dispatched.
The reason for that is because most of the Marines, as we can see for MVP, are making their way down to the base.
Yeah, this is putting a lot of pressure on here.
Keen doesn't have quite as many Marines. Oh, that is not a good decision to move that Marine out there.
Oh no, but he
Losing
spots
one.
it at least. He should
Could've
pull
used
some
it.
SCVs to fight here. He's down
gonna
2
need to.
Marines.
He's going to need to pull some SCVs.
But he's just finished a reactor.
That's right.
On his barracks.
Not the best response by Keen.
That was bad.
No.
And we might see a quick win here for MVP if he can do more damage with this. He is rallying lots more Marines from 3 barracks. Keen does have 2 reactors now.
And this expansion is basically for naught at this point. More Marines coming in right now for MVP. I think we might be seeing who's the real Marine King this game.
Yeah, MVP up by 7 or 8 supply at this point. But I think, I mean, Keen does have, he's got 2 reactor barracks and a non-reactor barracks, so he's gonna be able to outproduce him if he can survive until that next round gets out. But he goes in just at the wrong moment.
It's going to be close, but MVP is going to have just enough, and with more reinforcements flooding in here, it's going to be so hard for Keen to get back into this game. That command center may even go down. I think he might try to flank it from both sides.
And I think MVP
Maybe just
is
deciding to pull away. He's
yeah,
done
and that's
enough damage.
wise.
Yeah.
Because he saw the reactors, and so he knew that he was on the border of being outproduced.
I'm impressed. I mean, MVP, always an impressive player to watch, but just to be able to go in there have the potential for more damage, but think to himself, no, you know, I've damaged the command center, I've killed a lot of SCVs, I've killed a good amount of Marines. Time to pull back, time to get more ahead. That's what makes MVP so good.
Yeah, and that's what makes a top-level player, is that kind of decision-making. And, you know, like we talk about sometimes with Banshees, that will go in with 0 hit points and die and that kind of thing. It's, you want to get all your kills, all your damage for free. That's the mark that's what you see the top-level gamers doing, is they only do what damage they can get done for the least cost, and that's exactly what MVP did. I mean, you have to take some risks to do damage. But
now, and it looks like MVP will just be going mass bio and drops this game. A strategy that he's been doing a little bit more often. He used to be very big into the Marine tank. The other thing, too, is that this map is so large that drops are quite effective on it.
Yep.
Whereas with tanks, you have to be very careful. You have to control the middle of the map. It's a lot more of a hassle, I think, to babysit those tanks.
Now, MVP actually, he was actually sick last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he wasn't playing his best during his games against Violet because his fingers were a little stiff and he didn't have as much practice time.
All right.
I talked to the IM coach. He seems to be doing okay. I don't know how much he practiced, probably a little bit more, but apparently he's still a little sick. So
MVP? Yeah.
Keen might have that up on him, I guess.
All right.
Keen looked very healthy. And MVP sending a couple Marines down the map just to take the towers and see what's going on. And I believe both of those Marines completely missed this army coming up the middle.
Yeah. Nice sized group of Marines, but as you can see, MVP already has more Marines and medevacs. Stim on the way as well. This type of push is something you see pretty often in TVT. I'm not a big fan of it, though, just because it's so vulnerable. Much better executed as a drop like we see there. So Keen deciding to go with the drop. Not a bad idea if you can drop and take out some of those reactors.
Yep, that would be pretty big.
Helpful. Or, of course, SCVs are a juicy target as well. Or if you get the Tech Lab before Stim finishes, that would be huge.
And he is targeting it.
He
Stim
might get
is
it.
Moments from finishing.
He's going to.
And it goes down. Stim gets canceled by those Marines.
Huge.
And he's going to get a reactor as well. And another reactor. MVP is countering. He is not going to fall back to go home. He is going to counterattack and try and clean this up with
a lot of
SCVs and Marines. And he is losing tons of SCVs right now and not minding at all at his main.
Great drop from Keen. So impressive, taking out the add-ons.
Keen has double the harvesters that MVP has right now. And he holds this off.
Again. Here comes MVP rather up the ramp of Keen.
Tank doing so much damage, but he might break through.
This could equalize things quite nicely. In fact,
siege up and turn back.
This is going to be kind of bad. Oh no, he didn't repair the command center.
Oh no, the orbital goes down.
May not even matter. MVP doing a lot of damage there. So Keen, despite that nice drop,
and
not doing as much damage as MVP.
Just evened up the worker count a little bit. He's still a little behind, but taking out that orbital was huge because that means that he's not dropping mules and he's not mining from that base.
He does have a second base though, so both players still on 2 base. And Keen is still ahead in the harvester count right now, 38 to 34. So Keen's still definitely in this game. And maybe making MVP think for a second, hey, I need to take this guy pretty seriously.
Yeah. And MVP does have a sizable army advantage, though, at this point.
Yeah.
He's up 20 supply-ish. He's up about 15 Marines. And he has medevacs, whereas Keen does not have any medevacs. So he's definitely in a good position there. And just kind of chilling in the middle of the map. Keep an eye on the towers to make sure that nothing gets by him, although... You know, this would actually be a really good time for Keen to drop. He's a little bit worried too because he has so few forces.
Yeah, he's gonna want to play defensive. He doesn't have as many Marines. He's got about half the Marines of MVP right now.
Actually, I just looked at MVP's base. He's got a tank and some Marines in his main, just to make sure he doesn't almost lose to a drop again. So smart move there. And
MVP adding on some tanks now, taking control of that part of the map.
That Marine's gonna have to get some new boots.
It's a good transition by MVP to move from the Mass Marines into Marine tank. Keen has some tanks of his own as well. And Stim for MVP almost ready to finish again at this point. Did Keen get Stim? I believe he did.
I'm almost sure he did,
He certainly did.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
Yeah, MVP just now getting Stim at whatever minute mark this is.
It is the, I don't know, you don't have a clock
We
on
don't have a
yours.
clock on mine.
Mine's cut off on mine, so who knows, whatever.
Probably
It's
8
all
or 9.
good.
10. And MVP is moving, posturing around the middle, kind of prodding left, prodding right, saying, just kind of making sure Keen has to be on his toes. Keen comsats the middle to see where the army is, and he might try and track him down. MVP's going to try and seize that ledge, and Keen's going to try and come in from the side.
That could work.
And he might pick off that tank for free.
So many Marines so for MVP. I don't think he's going to be able to do this.
No.
Nope.
And he falls back.
No, he's going to lose all his tanks.
Oh, MVP targeting down the tanks as Keen runs back, and GG. Keen getting eliminated from the first game, and MVP going up for a not as quick as I thought, but a very quick 1-0 lead in this best-of-5 series.
Keen's going to need to step it up a little bit, come back in game 2. Thanks to our sponsors, LG, Intel, and G-Skill, of course. It's a shot of our lovely studio. Make sure you come and visit us. If you're in Korea, come to the studio. Why wouldn't you want to? It's so awesome.
Like the folks here from Singapore, they said they're here for a week in Korea. They came out to see some GSL.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I happened to be in Korea, and I said, I'll just go down to the studio and
cast some GSL.
Cast Code A for a season.
Moltrap just shows up. He's like, hey, can I cast a GSL? We're like, of course you can. Why not?
Yeah. Don't actually expect that to happen if you come to Korea.
Yeah, probably not.
But
you can come and watch. You can come and watch.
Yeah, you can come and watch
the players.
which is just as exciting.
Meet the players. You can meet us. You can meet Tasteless and Artosis if it's a code S night.
Yep, every other night.
Why
if you're here for 2 nights, you can meet all of us because
That's
you
true.
can come down 2 nights in a row, or you can come live here for 2 months like Leo and come down here 15 times so far.
You know, you actually get prizes.
You get prizes for
lot.
coming to the GSL multiple times, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I really hope Keen does well. I'm sorry, did you have something to add on to that?
I didn't have anything important to say.
Okay.
Just going to talk about this next map. We'll see it.
We
guys
will see it momentarily. The next map is going to be Zelnaga Fortress. Let's see what happens on that map.